I wasn't arrested. I was rescued.
Wow.
You know, because once again, if I hadn't went there, I may have been in the cemetery. So God had other plans for me.
Welcome to Be a Baller Podcast, where we discuss how to build a lifelong legacy. I'm your host, Coach Tim Brown. Today, we'll be talking about building a legacy and serving the community with our special guest, Greg Winbush. Greg Winbush of Winbush Enterprises Incorporated, a Clemency Pardon Consultant. Greg has been doing this work since 2013. I'm so excited to have him on the show. And also, he's a fellow Bobcat, so I really get excited.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for having
Bobcats.
me. Also, I just want to mention to my former coach, Paul Pinnell. He passed away on Monday. Just want to keep his family in prayer.
We'll do that for sure. Greg, as we talk about your life growing up, I know you were a great basketball. You're a basketball player at Clemency's High School, went on to play at Ohio University. When did you fall in love with basketball?
Basketball started around 5 or 6 years old, you know, in the backyard, you know, just playing around. And as I got older, went to Franklin Junior High School, and that's when everything started clicking. And then from there, I went to East High School. When I played, we didn't have AAU. Okay. So we had the playgrounds, and we played against older guys, and it just developed from one thing to another because during the 60s and 70s, the City League and Columbus basketball was real hot. Yeah.
So as you look back at that time during the 60s and 70s, who were some of the coaches and mentors in your life?
Well, the coaches, I had Ramirez, Coach Ramirez. He was my junior high school, and Coach Fullove was my 10th grade. And then my 11th, 12th grade, Coach Paul Pinnell was at East High School. And then also, too, I had other mentors, you know, Ed Ratliff, Nick Connors, you know, the guys who played at East. You know, I was like the little brother. I would travel with them, you know, because like I said, we played up at Ohio State in the cage, and I just traveled with them. So, you know, it was well worth it.
Yeah. When you look back on that, what were some of those life lessons that you learned from those guys?
Discipline, teamwork, networking, and trusting. That was real important. I mean, you know, because once again, you know, they were 17, 18. I was like 13, 14 years old. So I had to put trust in them. And also, too, they had to convince my mother. Right. They had to convince my mother to let me go at 13, 14 years old to Dayton, to Cleveland, and to Ohio State at 1 o'clock in the morning. Right. Yeah, so, yeah.
So, you know, as you look back on that experience at growing up in Columbus and at East High School, can you talk about the culture at East High School, the culture of excellence during that time?
Well, when I first got to East High School, Mr. Jack Gibbs, which was a icon, he was bigger than life when we first got there. And we had assembly the first day, and he came out on stage, and he set the rules, and it was all about excellence. You know, grades, academics was first, sports was second, and discipline was right there. And he set the example. And although I only had him for 1 year, I still remember the things that he instilled in us to this day.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons that was had off the court.
Yes.
Besides
yes.
basketball.
I mean, he was very, very, very academic. I mean, taking trips, going to Ohio State, going to Central State, going to Wilberforce. He made sure that he brought schools, and we went to schools, and we were only sophomores.
Hey there, Clark Kellogg here. Building a legacy usually involves meeting the unique needs of others and being part of something bigger than yourself. That's why I love First Merchants Bank. First Merchants believes that helping communities prosper means more than just providing banking services. It means offering accessible financial education, expanded access to home ownership, and partnerships with local nonprofits to help raise up neighborhoods and lift families out of financial hardship. For resources and tools available to you, visit www.firstmerchants.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
As you look back on your recruiting process back in the day, you know, we see all this recruiting now, everybody's online, announcing where they're going. How was that recruiting process, and why did you choose Ohio University?
Well, at first I went to University of Pitt, Johnstown, and the coach there didn't last, so I came home. And when I came home, I contacted Mr. Gibbs, and he contacted Coach Bandy, and that's when I came to Ohio University.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
You know?
And he told Coach Bandy that he had a guy that could shoot the ball.
Okay.
And he said he wanted to come to Ohio University. And he said, send him down.
Wow. You know, as you talk about when I think about that, how important relationships are. Obviously, they're looking for a guy. Gibbs knew exactly who the right guy was.
Well, Mr. Gibbs, he was the type of person that he would not tell you where to go. Mm-hmm. He would just give you the advice, because he said one of the things he didn't want to do is to make a suggestion, make a choice for somebody, and you had to live there and you had to go to school there. Mm-hmm. You know, and he was real adamant about that. He wasn't going to make the decision for you. It's for you and your parents to make the decision. He was just putting opportunities in front of us.
Mm-hmm. You know, as you look back over your life kind of took a different path. You know, you got some trouble with law enforcement. What was the moment that really turned your life around and got you back on that right track?
Well, when I was incarcerated, Tim, for 2 years, I had opportunity for the first 6 months to really figure out what my game plan was. Mm-hmm. You know, I was tutoring, I was going to school, but also too, I thought about what I wanted to do. And here it is in fruition today, mm-hmm. to be able to help other people who weren't able to help themselves, because once again, I had a lot of support from my family, friends, mentors. When I came out, Mayor Coleman was very helpful of giving me a job, but also too, he was very helpful of being able to help me go through the pardon process, as well as Pastor Troy, my wife, Dorsey Winbush, Robert Keys. Those people came to the forefront at my hearing. And this is what I'm doing today. I'm speaking for the voiceless.
You know, I know that you're a strong man of faith. How did your faith get you through those challenging times?
It was difficult. It was difficult because, once again, when you're in a place where you don't have any support and you don't know anybody, you have to put your faith in something else, and it wasn't man or woman. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I really had to stay focused and pray and let God speak to me and move forward. And as time went on, things got better.
Mm-hmm. You know, you just mentioned earlier about that second chance you were given with Mayor Coleman, Pastor Troy, Columbus basketball community, and all that. Could you dig in a little deeper on how they helped you stay focused and kept you motivated?
Well, once again, I mean, people come to people and ask that they need some help. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they have credibility as well, and they have to be mindful of the people who they helped, who asked for it. And basically, they trusted me to see me doing the right thing. And to this day, this is why I'm doing Winbush Enterprise, is because somebody gave me a chance and believed in me. So now I'm trying to help other people that other people don't get a chance and don't believe in. Mm-hmm. And it's real important, because I've seen the Restoration Academy program that Mayor Coleman started in 2012. And I was a coordinator for it, seeing people's life change within 6 months. Mm-hmm. You know, getting a job, getting a house, reconnecting with their family. It made a world of a difference. And we still have about 20, 25, 26 people in the first 2 classes that still work for the city today.
Right. Well, we had Mayor Coleman on the show earlier, and he talked about that program as being one of his greatest accomplishments in that program. And he shared what really started the program. He would, you know, Mayor is, he'd always walking around talking to people. He said, "What do you need? What do you need?" I said, "Man, I need to get a job." And then the gentleman would share with him about why he couldn't get a job, you know, because of that felony record or whatnot.
And a lot of times I was with him.
Yeah.
We was on the east side, north side, south side, and that same message came up, you know, I need a job, I have a felon. Yeah. I need a job, I have a felon. And he thought about it, and that's why he created the Restoration Academy. He thought of it, he funded it, and he hired the people at the city. And he said that's one of his most memorable things that he did in his 16 years.
Yeah, that was a powerful piece. Yeah. Can you talk about some of the skill sets that, you know, the guys need coming out?
Well, one of the things, they need support, first of all. Okay. You know, a lot of people come out and a lot of people come from Cleveland, Dayton, Cincinnati, because in Columbus we have a lot of resources. Mm-hmm. And then also to soft skills training, computer training, resume writing, just being able to change the trajectory where they're at now, to be able to go out and talk to employers, but also too, you have to have a resume. Mm-hmm. And then also too, the subject matter, being able to do the research on the company that you're going to interview for. That's important. And then once that happens, then things start to move. But then being forthright, a lot of people are hesitant to want to talk about their past. That's why the Restoration Academy, that's why the expedient pardon process, the sealing, the expungement is so important, because there's people who had things on their records for 15, 20 years and just don't know how to navigate through the system. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm here to help them do.
The team at the Financial Solutions Network is proud to partner with Tim Brown and bring you this episode of Be a Baller. Our mission is to share generously of our time, talent, and financial resources to help our clients develop financial plans and wealth management strategies that allow them to live the lives they imagine, while connecting them with experiences and people that enhance their quality of life. FCA is one of those organizations by helping young men and women through the development of their personal faith. The Financial Solutions Network is an independently owned and managed wealth advisory firm based in Worthington, Ohio. We are a multi-generational professional team of advisors with a combined 83 years of experience teaching and managing financial strategies for individuals, families, businesses, and institutions. We will be honored to help you plan your financial journey. Contact us at 614-505-3025 or visit our website at tfsn.net.
Your involvement in the community has been as a community member of the NAACP Criminal Justice Committee, New Salem Missionary Baptist Church, Prison Ministry, African American Wellness Walk Initiative, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Central Ohio. The question becomes why is Greg Winbush so involved in all these things?
Because somebody helped me. Mm-hmm. And I had, we talked about mentorship, but back then they was just older people in the neighborhood who was trying to show us the right way. Mm-hmm. Now it's mentorship. So I know how important it was when I was growing up that people took the interest in this, especially me. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm doing now. I mean, I don't really look at it as a job. I look at it as extending the olive branch, because once again, there's people out here who need help. And mental health is a big issue that we don't talk enough about. And that's one of the things that we are trying to bring up now, is that people, especially through COVID, people was isolated. Yes. And now coming back out and trying to reconnect, especially guys and women who've been inside for 5, 10, 15 years. And then all of a sudden you come out to this real world. You had to have some support. And that's one of the things that I'm very, very fortunate that I had my family. I had other people support, because a lot of people come out and they don't have it because their past has created that distance in between family and friends. Nobody wants to be bothered with them.
So it sounds like your goal is kind of stand in the gap.
Yes.
One in the gap.
Yes, very much so.
Catch them coming out, and not just, and I think about the support piece is your consistency. With your program, they can count on you through the long run. Sometimes people come and they'll start good things and then they drop the ball. But I watch you and watch how committed you are to this thing, not to let it go. And I know Ohio the governor's expedient pardon project is near and dear to your heart.
Yes,
it's near and dear to your heart. I know you've been fighting for this. And December 20th. The governor has this big deal. So can you talk about that program and why it's so necessary and the impact that it will have?
Well, once again, when I went through this process, Tim, in June of 2010, this was not available. I had to actually go through the steps myself. I had to go to the clerk of court's office to get my background. I had to go to the police station to get the fingerprint, the BCI. So I have a different appreciation for what we are going through now. And I explain that to people that, this is a lifetime changing event. And it's not for everybody. Okay. And I know that I've been on grand jury, I've been on jury, have a home, have employment. I have a lot of things that through this process I've been able to do. And I share that with people that I know that people say, well, people this and that, and they can't really test the people. They see people on TV, they see people in the paper, but when you actually see somebody who went through it, it has a different effect. Real effect.
It becomes real for them.
Yeah.
It's real for them. Here's somebody who was incarcerated, served the time, came out, got a pardon.
Right. And moving forward.
Moving forward.
And the best example is somebody that you can actually see and touch. You hear about a lot of people on TV, you see people write books, but when you actually see somebody who's been through it, has a different effect.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the key for that is you being a man in the community. People see you, I think a lot of times people see what you're doing now, but everybody doesn't know the story.
Yeah.
They don't know the story. And then once you're able to share the story,
right.
that's encouragement to somebody else. And so as we get to that, can you give a word of encouragement to someone listening, how they can be restored and receive a second chance? Because we may have somebody on here that's thinking, man, I've done too much,
I say to anybody who's listening to this, please contact me. Mm-hmm. We may not be able to go through the pardon process, but also, too, there's other avenues to go through. And just having somebody to talk to who's been there, that is a lot what people don't have, because as soon as you say that I am a felon, people stop. The communication stops. And, and then they're back out there again trying to find another place to go because people pass people on. I know how that feels. I can't help everybody, but once again, I can give them some encouragement.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by your vision for Winbush Enterprises. Can you talk to the audience about that vision? Because I've seen how far this has grown.
This is something that just started in 94, 95.
Okay.
That when I was incarcerated, this was something that I thought about then. How could I turn my life around to help others? And one thing led to another. And it didn't start out this way, but this was just something that I wanted to do down the road. And, God put certain things in place, and one thing led to another. And the first opportunity was through the Restoration Academy. Then once that took place, then, things started rolling. Because there was an article in the Dispatch, and what you said is that a lot of people didn't know the story, and people read that, and they was like, really, they never know that, But once again, it wasn't nothing I was hiding, but I knew that when you reveal certain things, people will look at you different. But then also, too, if I can help somebody, that's the purpose of me coming forward. And I appreciate you having me on the show, because once again, that's what I want to do, be able to help others.
There's a scripture that says this, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, called according to his purpose. So I really believe anything that we go through works together for the good. People look at that like, oh, no, how's this going, Lord, how is this going to work out for the good? I'm sitting here, I'm incarcerated 2.5 years. I'm this basketball player, I had a scholarship at OU. People are going to look at me like, how did that happen to Greg?
Yeah.
But we know that all things work together.
Yeah, and I truly say that, in the article, when they interviewed me, I told them, I said, I wasn't arrested, I was rescued.
Wow.
Because once again, if I hadn't went there, I may have been in the cemetery. So God had other plans for me.
He knows the plans.
And here I am. Moving forward. And I appreciate the opportunity, because, like you said, there's a lot of people don't know, but also too, I'm trying to help those people. I'm speaking for the voiceless, the people who don't have the opportunities or don't have the exposure or the connections or the network, because once again, relationships are important, and I take pride in that, because once again, I've been given opportunities that I know most people haven't been able to get.
As we come around the corner and wrap up, I want to leave this with the audience. How can people get in touch with you for more information, specifically in touch with you for more information?
Well, I have a website. It's winbushenterprise.com, and then my email is winbushenterprise@yahoo.com. My phone number is 614-369-0596. That's 614-369-0596. If anybody want to make any donations, it was greatly appreciated, because right now I have a few grants from the state and from city council, but moving forward, that will help.
Well, Greg, I want to thank you for your honesty, for being willing to be vulnerable and being willing to share your story. I think a lot of things that we go through is really not for us. It's for somebody else.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. And I hope that people who are listening to this will contact me, but also, too, understand that you're not the only person going through what you're going through, although you may think that at the time, but also, too, it's real important to reach out and let somebody know what you're going through, because the mental health part that we're dealing with right now, that's what's happening with a lot of people. They won't reach out, or they don't want to open up, and they carry things with them. And I'm just blessed. I'm just blessed, Tim, to be here. This is opportunity to share, and I hope that people listen. I hope somebody will appreciate and contact me.
Yeah, they will. They will. I'm sure they will. They will. We're praying.
The number
for
again
that.
is 614-369-0596. Reach out.
This brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks to our special guest, Greg Winbush, for answering the call that the Lord placed on his life to build a legacy of encouraging others. As always, thank you for joining us and listening to Be a Baller podcast. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
If you enjoyed our show, please share this podcast with family and friends. Be a Baller podcast is available on all major podcast stations. Be sure to come back next week as we continue to discuss on how to build a lifelong legacy. Until then, don't forget to be a baller. This podcast was created by Coach Tim Brown and produced and edited by the video production class of Worthington Christian High School.